The Russian president has accepted the resignation of the governor of the Kemerovo region over last Sunday's shopping centre tragedy. The blaze killed 64 people, 41 of them children. Here's a recap of that day.
Где наш папа? Данил, выходим к машине, побежали.
У меня жена увидела, что женщина какая-то с выпученными глазами бежит, молча причем. Никакой пожарной сигнализации вообще не было.
Она мне звонила в 11 минут 5 последний раз. Сказала, что я не могу выйти. Передай всем, что я их любила. Передай маме, что я их любила, и все.
Так, мужики, сейчас точно задохнемся.
Я видел только людей, родители, которые хотели забежать в зимнюю вишню, и их не пускали, плакали все прям черные от этих угарного газа. Было страшно.
There was no alarm, no siren, no sprinklers. The whole fire prevention system was off. Fire exits blocked. People inside this shopping mall were left on their own to find out about the beginning inferno by the thick stench in their nose. This shopping mall used to be a confectionery, and in fact it conducted fire drills just last week. So a lot of very grave and outrageous flaws missed in those drills, and so the investigation is looking into how this horror became possible. Vladimir Putin, who landed here in Kemerovo early in the morning, and he has already laid flowers at the vigil and talked to some of the citizens to comfort them over their loss.
Народу просто хочет, чтобы наказали. Да, на самом деле, понимаете?
Я не хочу, так и будет. Значит, мы с вами не будем делать вот таких выводов. Вот прямо сейчас назначать виновных. Но вот эти 100 человек следователей отработают по полной программе. Это точно. Даже не сомневаюсь.
3 days on since the tragedy, the families of the first 22 victims have said their last goodbyes to their loved ones with burial ceremonies. As the nation mourns the victim, the investigation is working to hold those to blame for the catastrophe accountable. Right now, investigators are looking into the mixture of factors. First and foremost, the alarm, the sirens did not go off when the fire began. Neither did the water sprinklers, if they were there in the first place, and the fire exits were locked, so people, when they followed the designated paths to safety, they found themselves at the doors that were shut. Also, the staff of the mall reportedly was untrained how to handle an emergency like this. At least 23 victims have been identified so far out of the total of 64. It is taking a long time because sometimes the identification is only possible through a DNA test. So badly the bodies are burnt. The process is going 24/7, but still we are being told that it could take as long as 3 weeks to identify everyone.
Igor Zhdanov there. Well, among the many tragic stories is that of a group of 11-year-old girls from a village near the city. They travelled to the regional capital with their teacher to celebrate the beginning of the spring holidays and also watch a movie. When the fire broke out, they all reportedly found themselves locked inside the cinema. The girls tried to call their families and posted messages on social media. None of them survived. Well, RT spoke to some of those who knew them.
They were such good girls, quiet, calm, joyful. They studied really well. It is such a tragedy for everyone.
There are almost no children of this age left in our village. There aren't many children here. Only our granddaughter Zina is alive. She didn't go, and also 3 boys. But no one else, their age, is left in the village.
People across the globe have been joining Russia to mourn the victims of the deadly blaze. Vigils have been held in more than 30 countries, with people bringing candles and also toys. But in the Russian city of Kemerovo, anger has been running high. Shortly after the tragedy, authorities in the city were confronted by crowds of victims' relatives and locals. The demonstrators were demanding the truth from the officials, with rumours circulating that the death toll could be as high as 300. These claims, though, were rejected by the investigation committee and later by protesters too.
Это наша площадь, я за нее налоги плачу и деньги.
Наказанные люди, то зачем сюда, естественно, приехали там, козлов отпущения наказать, 3-4 людей. По моему мнению, виновато все правительство.
Молодой человек, вы что, хотите попьяниться на горе?
На каком горе? У меня 8 семья погибла. Меня погибла. Жена, можете ковылять, Сергей, 3 детей, 7-5 бабок. Правильно пошел, да?
Они меня не пропускали. Я сказала, у меня там дети в кинозале находятся. Они стали меня выталкивать и сказали, там нет никого. Я просила, я молила, я пожарников просила, они стояли, ухмылялись.
Я говорю, где моя дочь? По телефону с ней разговаривал. Она кричала, я здесь, папа здесь. Я говорю, ложись на пол, дыши. Дыши, не умирай. Скажите, во сколько? Число назовите. 64. Какие 64?
300 билетов было продано в кинотеатре. Все места забиты. Никем не опровергаете, что залы были закрыты. А теперь даже ребенок может посчитать, сколько было трупов в этих залах.
Тихо! Нет! Пожалуйста, дайте человеку сказать. Пожалуйста, не нее. Ей 12 лет. На сегодня происходит... Народ этого ждет. Народ выбирал вас. Он распировал.
Я становлюсь на колени перед этими людьми.
Да не надо. Тихо, тихо, тихо.
Я хочу попросить. Не-не-не.
Meanwhile, the investigation into what caused the fire is progressing. The two main versions are the malfunction of the fire safety system and also arson. 5 people have been arrested, among them 2 directors at the shopping centre and also the maker of the fire safety system. The number of the victims could have been a lot higher had it not been for the courage of people nearby. Some lost their lives trying to get children out of the burning building. Jacqueline Vuga tells their stories.
On Sunday, a tragedy in a Siberian city turned teachers, shop workers, students, and scores of others into heroes. For some, it cost them their lives, like Tatiana Darsalia, an English teacher and mother who was out with her 14-year-old daughter when the fire broke out. She managed to get her child to safety before selflessly running back into the burning building to try and help others trapped inside. Many survivors have spoken of how they would never have made it out alive if there weren't people like Tatiana there. 17-year-old Dima Paluchin is a student at an emergency services college. With smoke filling the air, he made it to the exit, but heard a woman crying for help, unable to find her children. She pointed towards the fire, and Dima ran back inside.
I saw nothing. There was thick black smoke everywhere. I heard children crying, shouting, and that's how I found out where they are. 3 children were sitting in the corner of a room, terrified, crying. 2 girls and a boy. I told the boy to grab my belt and hold it tight, then took the girls by the collar and carried all 3 of them out.
Staff at the Winter Cherry Center risked their lives trying to get as many youngsters out of the building as they could.
All our co-workers had already escaped when we looked at the escalator. It was full of people.
They started helping people to get out of there. We have a back door at the end of the storage room.
I started calling people to come to us.
There were disabled people too. Our guys lifted their wheelchairs and helped them to go downstairs. Everything went black, with clouds of smoke surrounding us.
I don't know what would have happened to me if not them.
We don't consider ourselves rescuers. We are ordinary people. If you were in our place, you would have done the same. We heard that lots of men were burnt to death there. They are heroes.
There are no doubt other unsung heroes in the city, strangers without whom even more people, both young and old, would have perished.
Well, the blaze is one of the deadliest in Russia in decades. It took firefighters over 17 hours to put it out. Of the 64 people who died, almost two-thirds were children, as the school holidays had just begun.